everyone, it's Mingzi again, and here I am with my final map on the analysis we did whether Toronto neighborhood have enough food banks. So as you can see, I made a change to the base map. I styled the food bank points with a symbology that I found. I also played around with the demographic data set for the Toronto neighborhoods and made it so neighborhoods with 15% of the population that are 70 and over are in dark green. Going into our content panel, you can see that I've added several new layers. I added a layer called Toronto Supermarket, but it's currently grayed out, and the reason why it's grayed out, it means that it's not showing up on the map viewer. However, it is in there. So as I zoom in, you'll notice that the layer would ungrade itself and become darker, and you'll see all my point layer for supermarkets in Toronto. So I added the City of Toronto supermarket dataset that I found on ArcGIS Online just so that in case we need more deliveries or we need to make a case for more deliveries, grocery stores can step in and provide that service for that senior population. Going back into my content layer here, I've also added a layer called Age by Neighborhood. So let's look at the home extent and close this pop-up. Click on Age by Neighborhood, and I basically ran the enrichment layer on demographic for 2024 just to see if there's a need of a particular area, for example Scarborough here, if there is a growing senior population. So if I did some comparison here, you'll notice this area of Scarborough, so north of Scarborough, that area seems to be going to increase in population of people 70 and over. Now you can find the link to this map in my story map. If you want a copy, you can simply click on the link and you'll find your save button in the same area, hit save, and you can save as and save my map in your account if you want to use it. Because you will need your map for the next couple of exercise, but I do want to see the map you've created. So this is the video where I'll teach you how you can share your map. A lot of the time these maps are generated to be attached to a story on the web. Here's an example of that on the CTV News where they took a map from Project Pandemic, which created multiple maps, and created a gallery of maps embedded onto their site. This means that your map needs to have an embeddable link. And to get that, going back to our map viewer here, we can click on share and a window will pop up asking you some share capabilities. Currently your map is only shared to yourself, but if you allow your map to be shared to the public or a particular group, you get an option. So this is now asking me whether to update sharing capabilities for my layers. So I'm going to make sure that all my layers are available for sharing. So let's hit update sharing. And notice how for embedding map on a website, this is no longer grayed out. So I can click on it. Here you're brought to a window where you can set the width and height of your map. You can also pick out these map options, which are components of the map of how your audience member will interact with the map. For example, a home button. I can give them an option to search for a location or even have the legend appear. So you see the preview of your map on the right here. You can also change the theme. Maybe I want a dark theme or a light theme. It really depends. But once you're happy with all these settings, you can copy this HTML code, which is something that you'll simply copy and paste onto your website, or get this code and give it to whoever is in charge of the website to include that in your article. So this is how you quickly share a map. Let's say now you want to create a map that's more refined, you want to add more features to the map that your user can potentially interact with. So there are more options instead of this quick way of sharing your map through the map viewer. So going into share again, this time we're going to create a web app. So we're going to create an application out of the map we built. This is where you get to choose from a lot of different configurable applications. And configurable applications are template of application that you can use to embed in a site. There are many to choose from, and it's important to understand the message and interaction you want your audience member to receive. That's why in the Create a New Web App window, under configurable application, it asks you what you want to do and divide the functionality based on categories such as collecting and editing data. So these are like crowdsourcing functionality template. You can compare maps or your layers. You can explore your data set through these templates here. And there's just imagery options, just a lot of functionality to cater to your needs. So for our demonstration purpose, I want to compare the information we have on our map. There are several options of templates to pick from when you're comparing dataset. My favorite actually is the StoryMap Swipe and Spyglass. So if you click on a template, it tells you the description of that template. You can preview the template, you can download it, and that basically means you are going to edit the code of this template to your needs. And it's something you can do if you're comfortable with coding or hosting an application. So what we want is creating the web application, so I'm going to click on that. And it brings me to the next window where I give my application a name. So I'm going to say comparing between 2019, sorry, and 2024 senior needs. I'm going to give it a new tag. So it takes the tags from the map, and clearly my tags were poorly planned, so I'm going to create new tags. I'm going to be seniors, demographic, hit enter, 2019, 2024, COVID-19, food banks. And it's also really good to include the locations, go wild, do whatever. You can also enter a summary. So this application compares the senior needs between 2019 and 2024, and make sure I save it in a folder I want. So I'm actually in my own account, so you can see I have a lot of project going on. I'm going to save it under Introduction to ArcGIS Online, which is the series of these videos, and these apps are going to be shared with everyone. Now you can uncheck that if your project is not ready for the public to see. But I'm going to click share this app with everyone and hit done. Once I hit done, it'll bring me to a new web page, and in this web page is where I configure my application. Now here I get to pick out the layout of my application. You can pick vertical bar or spyglass. For our purpose, we want a vertical bar to compare between two maps. So I'm going to select this one and hit next. In this section, it'll ask you what layer you might potentially want to swipe between, or if you have maybe two maps, you can swipe between the two maps. Now, because I have all the layers I want to compare in one single map, I can pick the option of swiping in that one map and select the layer I want to swipe on. So think of it this way: I want to compare the senior population of 2019 and 2024, so I just pick one of that layer and hit next. In this step, I can choose the appearance of the application, for example, including a description on the side, having a legend, allowing pop-ups on the application. So these are all default choices I quite like. So let's proceed with next. For this setting, it allows you to identify the title of pop-up based on the different sides of SwipeMap. But at this moment, I'm not quite sure which side is showing which information yet, so I'm just going to open the application and come back to configuring this later on. So as this loads, we now have a preview of our swipe map. So in the swipe map here, there's a vertical bar that allows you to select and swipe across the map. Now if we take a closer look, we can see that one side of the map, which is the left, is a less green, and the right side is a more intense green. And that is because on the right side here, there are two polygons overlapping each other. To see which side is which, we can look at the legend. And in the legend, we can see on the left side, which is here, we have the polygons for neighborhood of demographic data in 2024, and on the right side we have the neighborhood polygons of 2019 overlaid on top of the neighborhood 2024, which is why the green is more intense. So this is not really what I wanted, ideally, both in the way the map is being presented and the way the map looks. So let's focus on this application first. I ideally want 2019 to be on the left side of the map. So let's change that. And if we take a look at the pop-up as well, the pop-up has different information based on the years. So 2024 here and 2019. But we don't really know from the context because our pop-ups aren't labeled. So let's make those two changes. We are going to change the layer of the focus. So we're going to focus on 2024 so that our 2019 map will be on the left and 2024 map will be on the right. So that's going into swipe type and changing that layer option. Next, we're going to add a title to our pop-up. So after we make that switch from left to right based on the different years, we're going to have 2019 on the left side and 2024 on the right side of the map. So let's see these changes. We're going to hit apply, and you're going to be prompted to tell you basically to make these edits, you need to hit save. And once you save, you need to reload this. So this actually happens in a lot of application templates. You'll need to save and reload to see the changes you've applied. So let's take a look at what we have here. Based on the legend, you can see that we already have 2019 on the left side here, and we have the 2024 demographic data on the right side. And if we click on a pop-up, so let's click here at Hillcrest Village. In 2024, we have seniors age 70 and over making up 21.43% of the population. And as we swipe over the polygon, the pop-up changes to 2019 with a percent makeup of 16.18. So let's focus on now changing the appearance of the map. And to do that, you need to go back into your map. To access your map, go to your My Content page, and to do that, simply open a new tab. And I like to go through this method just because it's easier. If I type in content, it has all the history and cookies of sites I've been on. So if I hit content, it prevents me from signing in again and it takes me directly to the page. So here in my content, I can see all my layers that I have as well as the web map. So we are going to open this in Map Viewer to make edits to the map. Now, here in our map, we want to change the opacity of the map so that there are no transparencies set. To do that, hover to the layer for more options and click on Transparency. We're going to bring the transparency down to 0%. And we're going to do the same for the other demographic layer of 2019, 0%. And now we can toggle between the two polygons to see the significant difference. Let's save this. And now going back to our application, you can't see the changes yet, but I am going to hit refresh and we'll see the changes now. So notice my green is no longer transparent. You can absolutely see the distinguish changes. So I can do more customization, maybe give it a description of the map, explaining the situation or the story. I can edit the title and give it a subtitle. I can also change the look and feel of the header. So I can go into my settings and maybe give my header a color of a dark green. Hit apply. I can also change the header text, maybe change the logo to whatever logo your organization use, and have that logo link to a particular website. I also have these texts, so I'm not sure if you can see it, but right now it says a story map. I can also change that to an organization or maybe even your name to your profile page. These are all options you can play around with to customize your application. Let's recap what we learned in this video. We learn how to share our map through a quick configuration of embedding our maps within the map viewer, and then having an embed code that we can put in our website. We also learn about the different templates available, which we call the configurable application, and we particularly took a closer look at the configuring of StoryMap swipe and spyglass template. Be mindful when you're editing the map itself. Remember, when you want to edit the map within the application, you would need to go into the map viewer and make a change there. Now, if you want to make configuration and edits on the application itself, you would need to be in a link where it is in the edit mode of the application. That being said, I look forward to our discussion session where I'll go over more examples of configurable application, and there are many more to explore, so catch you in the next video.